And welcome back, Scrap Mechanics, to Scrap Mechanic with your mechanics, the Mahula Brothers. Now, today, I'm still not feeling well from the 2016 post Easter allergy allergy attack, allergy outbreak. But what I want to do here for you today is give you what I had been playing around with as soon as possible because I think it's cool. First off, I want to tell you one little fact about myself. One little fact about myself that some people probably won't ask is that I used to be a racer. Okay? So, me being a racer, I know a little bit about suspension, and that's why I named this episode Sway Bars, because that was the first thing you did when you got a car, a regular car that you wanted to turn into a racer. You riced it out with strut tower bars, and if you could, get sway bars. And I had been messing around with another guy's, I'd been messing around with another guy's video where that they had advertised. They had shown their design for advanced suspension. Now I'm showing you the old monster truck's old suspension because see what happens with this model. Oh, here, see, it's already happened right there. It's already happened right there where the one suspension has glitched through the rest of the blocks. Right there on the right there. See that? I hate that. So Scrap Mechanic has no fix for this yet. But in my mind, in trying to think of another design for this, I had stumbled upon sway bars. Now, when I say sway bars, I call them sway bars because they do what they're supposed to do in Scrap Mechanic, in a sense of cancel out sway. Oh shoot! I need a flat piece of land to show you what I'm trying to do here with the old suspension. Where that with the sway bars, in Scrap Mechanic they will actually use the suspension glitch feature, the suspension glitch to help keep your vehicle upright. Now I'll show you what I mean if I can try to, because what I used to do all the time, and of course now that I'm trying to consciously do it, is that I was always able to flip this truck in the old suspension, right? I was always able to flip it from turning. See that? Just by turning like that, I'm able to flip it. Okay. Now with my new suspension design, I will show you. And see right there, more suspension has been glitched. A lot more suspension has been glitched out. In my new design for the monster truck suspension, this should not be a problem anymore. I sound like an old salesperson from the 1950s, door to door. I'm trying to sell you what is it? Lacquer, wax, whatever stuff. Now, let me show it off to you first. Let me show you the design. So, in the suspension itself, we'll use the crosshairs. I took out the other two shock absorbers. I was going to say the struts. Is it the struts? Whatever. I took out the other two shock absorbers. What I did here is also I added a bearing here, and then I extended an arm all the way out to the body, and in the body I put two pipes where that it's being held. Now what's happening here is that as this suspension is being compressed, this bar is pulling in on the suspension. So right now with the glitch, excuse me, with the suspension glitch, right now with this shock being compressed, it's now actually being pushed in by this bar. So now if I try to drive and try to flip it over, it will not flip. It will not flip as long as the suspension is compressed, meaning that the wheels are touching the ground. Okay, as you can see, the wheels are staying on the ground. The wheels didn't leave the ground like it did before. But that's what I'm saying now, is that with this suspension glitch, the anti-sway bars, every time the suspension is being compressed, it is pulling in on the body. And I mean pulling in on the body. See that? It's not even, the inner wheels aren't even being lifted off the ground anymore. Same exact body design. The only difference now is the suspension itself. Let's try this again. The wheels aren't even being lifted off the ground, because with the compressed suspension on the outside of the turn, it's constantly pushing now. With the suspension glitch, it's pushing inward into the turn. So that's how I did it. Oop, need to turn. Now, this is not an anti-flip system, okay? This is what I call it, anti-sway bars. For you guys who are actual mechanics out there and know about cars, yep, you can see that, okay, it doesn't really work like anti-sway bars, but then the effect is the same. Okay, the science is different, of course, but the effect is the same. Okay, so this is how I did it. Where that all I did, oh here, let me put it on the lift for you, the jack. Sorry, yeah, I know everyone calls it a lift because that's what it is. I call it the jack. Alright, so I'm going to take this apart for you. Okay, so like I said, I put a bearing in here. I extended out the arm to the body, and with the body, on the body, I secured the arm with a pipe here so that it can go ahead and rotate. So doing that, what I did here is I cut into the body where the arm is, where the sway bar arm is, so that it can go ahead and flex. I guess you could say flex, rotate, so that the suspension can get more range of motion, range of movement, so that it can get more compression. And as it compresses more, then the suspension glitch, the sway bar will pull into the suspension, and the suspension glitch will go ahead and help keep the car upright as long as the wheels are on the ground. So this is not a sensor activated auto balancing anti-flipping mechanism. This is almost almost mechanical, but how can I say this? It is it's still and I hate doing this because we're all hoping that the developers of Scrap Mechanic will not nerf, oops, too much, will not nerf the suspension glitch. Because yes, this is, I know I said it before that I was anti-suspension glitch, but I actually just stumbled upon this design. I'm not going to mess around with the actual design here, but I'm just going to go ahead and secure this again. And that's basically what it is. You can, of course, you can use any material, but then when you use but then what happens here is that with the crossbar, just make sure you're using the pipe there so it gets a better range of motion. And at the same time, you can always use a pipe here, depending on how far you want to come out with your suspension. You can always use a pipe here and then put a the cross section, the T pipe, the T connector over here at the end, and then extend out with the pipe there. But yeah, that is the anti-sway bar suspension system. Patent pending by Mahula. for Scrap Mechanic. So let's try this again. Let's play around. I know it's only been 10 minutes, and that's all I'm showing you is the anti-sway bar. But that's what we used to call it. We always used to just call it the sway bar, because for those of you who are not mechanics or racers, and if someone can tell me what this means, I mean, like, why did we used to call them sway bars? Where they were actually anti-sway bars, because that's what they did. They cut out the sway of the I guess you can say the centripetal force from whenever you made a turn. The one thing I noticed also with this, I think what's happening also is that because I'm getting more contact or more friction with the ground with this new suspension and the glitch system, that my turns in the monster truck are so much more. They're so much tighter. They're more responsive, a lot tighter than they used to be. So yeah, there are a lot of benefits to this. Tighter turning, anti-sway, and that you don't have to deal with multiple shock absorbers potentially glitching through whatever supported blocks are trying to keep all the suspensions together. So, because that's what it does. As you can see, if with this, the way it's happening is that the sway bars are actually helping with the body itself, as to add more tension, more suspension power, in a sense. Because if I had taken out the sway bars completely, you would see that that with the size and the weight of this vehicle, all four suspensions would be completely compressed, where that you would not see anything at all in the middle. The springs would be completely compressed. But right now it's not with this design and the system. So hopefully you like that. Hopefully you. I know that it's a little bit. How can I say this? It only benefits vehicles with big wheels. Because of the way, look at this, because of the design, the way it is, it cuts down on your ground clearing underneath your vehicle. Because let's see here, let me make a comparison here. That's where the axle is. So if that's the axle, hopefully you guys can see this. Yeah, see, it doesn't leave much of a ground. It doesn't leave much of a ground clearing between the tire with the axle and that. If you use the, you couldn't even use the smaller wheel. I mean, you could still do this. Okay, sorry, you could still do this. I take it back. You can still do this, but what you would have to do is, you would have to bring the axle down, like, say, this far, in order to use this suspension design. So this is my suspension design for sway bars, or anti-sway bars, in Scrap Mechanic for these size wheels. If you want to use it in your design, yeah, you're gonna have to put it somewhere else. If I can figure out a way to do this in a normal size single passenger car, I will make another video, and hopefully you guys will enjoy it and appreciate it. I know I do appreciate it, because I stumbled upon it, and with a vehicle this size going at this speed, it helps so much. Rock. I need a flat piece of ground I can turn on. And see that? Yeah, with the old truck and the old suspension, they would be those inner wheels. The wheels on the inside of the turn would be off the ground by now. So with this, it keeps all the wheels on the ground. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. Hopefully you guys too. Let me know what you think. I thank you guys for the time you spent with me. and the Mahula Brothers, I thank you for your patience. Hopefully you can understand me with my allergies and my sexy morning voice. And hopefully this design inspires you to do something else, to build something else. Let me know. If you do decide to integrate this, please go ahead and let me know. I would love to see your design and how you use it. Yeah, look at that. Oof. That turn is so much sharper than on the old truck. I'm loving it. So hopefully you guys liked it. I thank you very much for everything. I thank you for your love and support. We ask for your continued love and support by liking, favoriting, sharing these videos. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet. Leave a comment. Let me know what you think. Tell your folks, tell your friends, tell your non-friends, tell your frenemies. Tell a complete stranger about the fun times you've had watching the Mahula Brothers and their fun times in our videos. And as always, I ask the powers that be to keep you safe. Stay cool, keep frosty, stay thirsty out there, and be safe in the real world, where that we take risks for you in the virtual world so that you and your wallet doesn't have to. Thanks a lot.